Hello gang, and welcome to another episode of Jim's Kitsch Kitchen. For tonight's dinner, I've decided to combine two meal ideas that I think are pretty great. I'm combining the idea of a stuffed pepper with a cheesesteak sandwich. Doesn't that sound cool? I think so. To start, I've cut some green bell peppers in half, pulled out the insides, and I'm going to stick them in the oven to soften for about 30 minutes at 325 degrees. And while that's cooking, I've chopped some onions and I'm going to caramelize them. Today's episode is dedicated to Steak-Umms. Do you remember these? I do. I haven't had them in forever. But Steak-Umm sandwiches, they were invented in 1968 by a food technologist. His name is Gene Gagliardi. Gene Gagliardi came from a meat family. His father, Eugene Gagliardi, ran a meat business and it was struggling a bit. Gene wanted to help the business and wanted to come up with a fun idea. And he had this big hunk of meat and he thought of shaving the meat very thinly because he thought he had heard that people really struggled with cheesesteak sandwiches and that it was so tough and hard to chew and that people were choking on the steak, especially children and seniors. So he wanted to come up with a fun idea, so he came up with a shaved beef. Gene's father, Eugene, thought it was a silly idea, but Eugene still let his son run with the idea. And at first, people were kind of iffy about it. But then the school lunch programs thought this shaved meat was so neat, and they started rolling it out to different schools. Well, children ended up loving it, and it got packaged, and people were buying it, and it was specifically called the meal for latchkey kids, because parents felt okay, kids being home alone, cooking themselves up some Steak-Umms on the griddle. Steak-Umms was not Gene Gagliardi's only success. He invented something else kind of cool. He invented popcorn chicken. Isn't that neat? Let the Steak-Umm cooking begin. It takes about 30 seconds on each side. They should have called them Steak-Yums. Ooh. In the bottom of each one, put a slice of provolone cheese. Then comes the Steak-Umm meat, right on top of the cheese. Then comes the caramelized onions on top of that. Shake on some Italian seasoning. Top it off with another slice of provolone cheese. I raised the temperature on my oven to 400 degrees and I'm going to cook it for 10 minutes and then it'll be done. They're done and they look great. Thumbnail! Now time to taste. Here we go. Great combination of flavors. The Steak-Umm is fantastic. Love those onions and that seasoning. And the cheese. Wow! I'm so glad that you watched this video. If you want to see more, click that thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends. And I'll see you next time on Jim's Kitsch Kitchen. Bye. How does Lady Gaga like her Steak-Umm cooked? Raw, 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 raw.